All right, good evening, race fans. Jesse Olson broadcasting North American GP 2018 IndyCar League. We're here at Sonoma. It's week 11. That means only 2 rounds to go until the end of this 35th season with North American GP. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We're picking up qualifying. Sorry about the double intro there, if anybody caught that. Still learning some of the software here, so appreciate everybody bearing with me here and watching through all my different learning curves as I try to figure out some of the software here to bring this race to you live from Sonoma. So right now, sitting with Mark DeGraw, who's in the pits. He's probably making a few adjustments to his car and looking to get back out there and set a time. Let's transition over and take a ride with Matt Taylor, who looks to be on track right now. Let's hop on board. Sorry for the late start as well here. Didn't have time to get points grabs and whatnot, but I'll be sure to run down the points situation. With 2 weeks left, Matt Taylor right now is still your points leader, but I'll go through how close that race is getting. We're getting to the end of this 35th season. It's still anybody's race here, no pun intended, for the championships, individual driver championship spot. Watching Matt pull back out onto the track here. Taylor is in pole position right now with a 113.7. Brad Marys is in second, sitting on a 114 flat. Brad carrying 10 kilograms of ballast this week. We'll see how he's able to do with that. Might slow him down a little bit, but Brad's been quick all year, so I don't think that's going to keep Brad from trying to put in an effort to grab the pole position and ultimately a good result. You see him as he goes all the way down to that tight hairpin at the end of the drag strip. You'll notice, for those who are familiar with Sonoma, they're not running the traditional IndyCar circuit, where they're a different variation, but I personally like this variation without the tight chicane, rather the faster flowing S's down the back side of the track. It's a lot of fun to watch, and the guys don't have to slow down as much. They carry some really fast speed into that final hairpin. Brad improves on his time, but not position. 114 flat. Right behind him is Kevin Lekmansky. Hop on board with Kevin here. We'll look around some external cameras here. Just keep an eye on Matt Taylor's time up there. That 113.7 still good enough for pole position. Also, not a lot of cameras to choose from here for me tonight for this track, so bear with some of the shots. I hope they work out good for the racing, but it seems a lot of them are some stationary camera flybys. This is probably an out lap for Kevin, so we'll stay on board with him as he'll be looking to take a shot at a hot lap and put together a chance to grab the pole position. Looks like Kevin wasn't happy with that lap or whatnot, so he pulls it off, and we'll move on back here to Jonathan Cuppett. Had a great showing last week, but ultimately didn't bring home the victory. For those of you who have been following Jonathan is teammates with Matt Taylor, who's in pole position, so they are team taking care of business. And Jonathan showed some great pace this season. He was on pole at, I believe that was Mid-Ohio, and then has put together a series of great qualifying and race results. Almost snapped him a win there at Mid-Ohio, and last week had a pretty solid run at Road Atlanta. So we traveled all the way from Road Atlanta, my hometown, to Sonoma, California here. And the last race will also be at Riverside, so we'll stay here on the West Coast for these last two races. So right now, Jonathan, the 114.410, good enough for 5th position. He's 4/10 off his lap, and he just working really wide there, trying to work around the slower car of Dale, and Jonathan just gonna have to take it back to the pits and put another run. Let's see if we can't hunt us down a track map for Staging broadcast. Bear with me a moment here. I'll take you on board Brad Mary's here while we're looking for that track map. Alright folks, sorry about the technical snafu there. My headset died and we had to get plugged in and reconnected. But here's the track map for tonight. We're running a different variation, like I said before, of Sonoma's road course here. So rather than the typical 9A section, we'll be running just the regular S's down the back half of the track, along with the front half of the track that is typically the Indycar circuit. So somewhat familiar with these guys, and we're also running the longer turn 11, which gives them a little bit faster speeds into the final airpin. We'll have to keep an eye on that. If you get that wrong, there's a wall immediately outside there. Hope nobody gets into it, but imagine these guys will be carrying some serious momentum after negotiating the S's. Keep in mind we also have push to pass available this season, so these guys get I think 10 uses of the push to pass, which is 50 extra horsepower for 15 seconds with a 20-second timeout between pushes, or a lockout rather, which means they can't hit the push to pass button consecutively. Also, I don't think there's any push to pass enabled for qualifying. Also of note, both tire compounds are in effect for this season. The alternates, which are the softer of the two, and the primaries, which are the harder of the two, but a little bit more durable, a little slower in overall pace, but they last longer. But all drivers will have to run at least 2 laps on each set of tires, so keep that in mind. Last week we saw some strategy play in to the race there, and it seems we've had a battle for the lead come down to strategy a few times this year, so the race can be won and lost just by determining when you take the primary and alternate set of tires. Everybody qualifying, of course, on the alternate tires. Right on board Brad Marys, who got caught up behind some slower cars, and he takes it off. So let's check on Matt Taylor's in the pits. Kevin Lekmansky's on track right now. He's actually just coming across the start-finish line. Kevin improves his time, 113.855. So he is about 3/10 off of Matt Taylor's time, sitting in P2. Matt Taylor with a 113.5, still the best time. 8 minutes to go in qualifying. Picking up Aaron Parsons there, who's also having some challenges negotiating a back marker there. Aaron sitting in P5 with a 114.2, carrying 30 kilograms of success ballast. Jonathan Cuppett out on circuit. Looks like he's on an out lap, so we'll stay with Jonathan here and see if he can't put a fast one together. Jonathan having a pretty good lap so far. He's about 3/10 off here in the first sector. Let's see if he can improve his middle sector and get a little bit closer to that pole position. So promised you that rundown, and Matt Taylor is sitting in first place with your 154 points. But only 2 points behind Matt is last week's winner, Aaron Parsons. He's one half of Team T. Brock Dam Bam. John Houston is with just 5 points behind Aaron with 147 points. So the top 3 drivers separated by just 7 points, 2 points between the first and second place points cars of Aaron Parsons and Matt Taylor. John Houston in third is the other half of T. Brock Dam Bam, so they are leading in the individual points championship. Got point totals here for T. Brock Dam Bam with 299. They are 28 points to the good on taking care of business racing, TCB. That's Matt Taylor, who we're on board with now, and your provisional pole sitter, and Jonathan Cuppett, who we were riding with before. Just behind those fellas is the pairing Captain Clutch Motorsports. That's Kevin Lekmansky, who's fourth in points with 132. That puts him 22 behind Matt Taylor. A little further back than he'd like to be, but actually he's not out of range yet. Last year we saw Kevin Lekmansky win the race, or win the championship in the last race. So anything can happen. 2 weeks to go, and with a max points of 26 on the line, Kevin's still alive. Brad Marys is in fifth with 130 points, so he's 24 back of your leader. Jonathan Cuppett in sixth position with 117, and Mark DeGraw right behind him with 111. Also, Captain Clutch sitting third in points with 243, in Precision Motor Racing with 231. So T. Brock Dam Bam running away with the team points right now. John Houston and Aaron Parsons have been your winners the last 2 weeks. Last week was Aaron Parsons, the week at Road Atlanta, and the week before was John Houston at Mid-Ohio. Oh, Matt Taylor takes it wide going into the carousel section. That's going to put an end to his lap. So, speaking of John Houston, let's hop on board here with John Houston. Winner 2 weeks ago at Mid-Ohio in spectacular fashion. That 3-wide pass down the back straightaway for the lead was one of the more aggressive passes we've seen from third to first within a few hundred yards, and he made it stick and won the race that week. He's still carrying a little bit of success ballast from his recent finishes. 10 kilograms for John Houston tonight. Aaron Parsons will, of course, be carrying 30 from his win, so those fellas looking to do the best they can with the additional ballast carrying on those cars. The good news is if they can keep from gaining any more, they might be in a better position come the last race, but we'll see how that plays out. It's tough to play the weight game. Usually you're just shooting for the best finish you can. I'm back here to position 8th. Alan Jacobs sitting on a 1:14.479. He is just 5 thousandths off John Houston's time. Alan Jacobs in the pits now, having a good run. Jake Feemster coming out of the pits. He'll be on an out lap. He's in your 9th position here. Chris Moses, the other half of Precision Motor Racing, in 10th with a 1:14.7. So right now, just 1 second covers your top 8 cars, and Jake Feemster and Chris Moses not far back, 1.2 seconds back. Kevin Miller with a solid run in P11. David Zahn, P12. Greg Myers, another solid qualifying, 1:15.1. Mateo with a 1:15.3. We'll keep an eye on Mateo and see what he can do. Josh Slade with a 1:15.5, sitting in 15th. John Wathen in 16th. Iggy Jordy a 17th. And he's going to take him for a slide. Dale Ballwag 18th. Chuck Carter 19th. David Rowley in 20th. Joel Ekman, 21st. See if Joel can make his way up. Just expect to see Joel a little closer to the top 10 there. Sergio Calderon in 22nd. Lou Mascarelli in 23rd. Brian Story is on track but hasn't put in a lap. Likewise with Ian Jolicoeur. Not sure if he's here tonight or if he's got a sub in his car. And Omar Gomez also not putting in a time. I believe some of these drivers may be on no qualification penalties. Let's go see if we can find out what the story was from the CC. 1 minute left here in qualifying. Matt Taylor still your pole sitter. And he's got about 2/10 to the good on Kevin Lekmansky. We'll hop on board with Kevin right now, who looks to be even with Matt through the first sector. Runs it right out to that yellow line, and he will try to carry as much momentum as he can through these S's. Complete rhythm section here. If you don't get it right, then you'll be so far behind you'll never make up the ground. Kevin looks to be level with Matt Taylor right now. There's a car in his way, and that's it. Kevin Lekmansky was on a flyer, but it wasn't to be. Can't avoid a spun car coming into the final hairpin, and that's going to put an end for Kevin Lekmansky. Mark DeGraw still out there, 2/10 off in the first sector. 5 seconds to go, so anybody on track will be having their last chance at a lap, assuming they cross the finish line right now, or ahead of right now. As I say that, John Houston puts in his best time, jumps up to P6. Mark DeGraw jumps up to 4th on a 114 flat. So nice job by Mark DeGraw there. So seeing a couple spots change hands here in the waning moments of qualifying. A few more moments. I'm not sure if there's any other cars on track. Matt Taylor looks to be out there. 6/10 up in the first sector, so I doubt he'll be going any faster. Jake Feemster puts in his best lap. Where does that land Feemster? In 7th right now. And that's going to be it for Matt Taylor. So that should just about wind up qualifying here. We'll run them down once the session ends and we get everything official. Don't see any other cars out on a qualifying lap, so just waiting for a session to end, and there it goes. And that puts qualifying in the books. Matt Taylor, your pole sitter, with a 1:13.546. So impressive time by Matt Taylor, pole position by a little over 2/10. So Matt, as mentioned before, your points leader. He'll be starting from the pole position, so he'll be expecting to score max points here. Hopefully get a clean start, get out to the lead, and run away from these guys, or at least clear himself of any trouble there on the start. Matt's got an opportunity here for pole, possibly a most laps led and a win, and max out his points for this week, which would help him in the point standings, bring him some much needed comfort between him and Aaron Parsons, who are just separated by 2 points. Aaron Parsons going to have his work cut out for him this week. He'll be starting in 5th with 30 kilograms of success ballast, but still anything can happen. 2 weeks to go. Nothing's ever final until it's all over, folks. So I expect to see a fun, exciting race here at Sonoma, and of course we'll finish up the season at Riverside. Let's go ahead and run him down. Matt Taylor, your pole sitter. Kevin Lekmansky will be starting P2. Brad Mary's P3. Mark DeGraw starting P4. So Captain Klutz Motorsports starting 2 and 4. They'll be looking to maximize their points this week. Aaron Parsons starting 5th. His teammate John Houston right behind him in 6th. That's your points leader with T-Brock Dam Bam. Jake Feemster, a great qualifying effort there for P7. And Jonathan Cuppett, P8. Alan Jacobs, great time for P9. Chris Moses, the other half of Precision Motor Racing, in P10. Expect to see Chris move up through the field as we get under green here. Kevin Miller with a strong run in P11. David Zahn, 13th. Greg Myers. Oh, I'm sorry, David Zahn, 12th. Greg Myers, 13th. Mateo, 14th. Josh Slade, 15th. John Wathen, 16th. Iggy Jordia, 17th. Dale Ballwag, 18th. Chuck Carter, 19th. David Raleigh in 20th. Joel Ekman starting 21st. Sergio Calderon, 22nd. Lou Mascarelli is in 23rd. Omar Gomez looks starting at the back. I think he must have picked up a penalty with a no qualification. Brian Story also starting at the back, and also Ian Jolicor. Not sure if Ian's here this week or not. So that's your order, folks. that's your order, folks. 1 minute left to go. We'll get ourselves situated here on the pole sitter, Matt Taylor. "30 seconds left on the clock, folks. So we'll be seeing the lights pop up here soon, and then I'll try my best to get best capture of the start here. All right, on board with Matt Taylor looking back at the field. He gets a little bit of wheel spin, and Kevin Lekamanski's going to get by him, as well as teammate Mark DeGraw. Coming in here into turn 1. Matt takes it wide. Mark having a little bit of trouble. Looks like Matt's going to take the position back. And now DeGraw under threat there from what looked to be Brad Marys. Let's go ahead and hop on board Brad Marys. He's following the battle here for P4. John Houston slid by Mark DeGraw right now. So Kevin Lekamanski steals the P1 position away on the start. Mark DeGraw had a shot at him for P2, but looked to have a little problems there in that second corner. He slid, resumes his starting position of P4. John Houston, also a big winner in that start. He's all the way up to P3. Moving back here through the field, got Jonathan Cuppett and Aaron Parsons duking it out here for P6. Also Alan Jacobs and Chris Moses running nose to tail here for P10. David Zahn taking a peek. Lekamanski still out front by 4/10. And keep an eye on the ticker on the bottom, folks. That'll tell you your tire strategies. See some drivers starting on the primaries, like Alan Jacobs in front of David Zahn here. David on the faster alternate tires, so expect to see some racing based on some guys moving forward on the alternate tires and other guys trying to hold track position while they do their rotation of the primary tires. David Zahn having a run on Alan Jacobs. David gets on the binders, does a good job. Looks like he's going to get the move done. David's on to 11th. Hop back up here to the lead, folks. Kevin Lekamanski and Matt Taylor now running nose to tail. Kevin a little shallower line there through turn 11. Looks like that's going to pay off. He puts a little bit more room there on Matt Taylor. Matt's still within striking distance, just 3/4 back of Kevin. Kevin runs it wide out of that second corner. Matt almost gets around on the outside. Matt be looking to take it to him on the inside. Oh, Matt locks it up. Good save there by Matt Taylor, but that gives Kevin Lekamanski a little bit of breathing room. Sometimes better to be safe than sorry. Matt did the right thing and just recovered the car, not trying to get into Kevin or make a move. Lost Sergio Calderon from the race. Just here on our third lap. Kevin Lekamanski jumped your pole sitter, Matt Taylor, on the start and continues to lead Matt Taylor. So Matt lost a little bit of ground with his brake lock up there. Kevin gets about a 0.6 advantage. Keep an eye on these guys and see if the racing gets any closer. Should mention that all your top drivers right now on the alternate, so position 1 through 5 on alternate tires. So is Jonathan Cuppett in P6. Jake Feemster also on the alternate tires. So almost everybody inside the top 10 with the exception of just all the way back to Chris Moses in 10th on your alternate tires. We've got a heated race going on here for the third spot here. Matt Taylor, we must have missed it while I was running back through the field. Apologies for that. Has slipped to third. John Houston now all the way up to second position. 1 second back of Kevin Lekmansky. We're going to ride on board with Brad Marys here, who's now just half a second behind on Matt Taylor. And not far behind Brad is Mark DeGraw, who has fallen back to Brad there from, they've changed positions. Mark doing a good job of staying with Brad here, but not really making any ground on him. Wonder if these guys got a little shaken up by that first lap, or sorry, that last lap bottleneck there into this hairpin corner. Might be just wanting to calm down a little bit. We're only on lap 5, and we've got 49 laps tonight, so 44 more laps for these fellas. We've lost John Wathen from the race. Whoa. Mark dealing with a little bit of wheel spin there on the exit of turn 11. That's going to cost him some ground. Let's hop back up to Brad Marys here, who's just staying on the back of Matt Taylor, who is also working on John Houston. Right now, your top 5 cars covered by just 3 seconds. This is the closest start we've had probably all season. And just as I say that, Kevin Lekmansky takes it wide into the carousel. Not sure where he's going to pop out. Your leader takes it off track. That's moved John Houston all the way up to the first spot. John started around, I believe, 6 or 7. So, John Houston, your big mover here in the first 6 laps of the race. See John running that car way out wide, but he's able to maintain the speed. Brad closes up the gearbox of Matt Taylor. Let's see if he can get the power down, maybe take a run. Clean exit by Matt in front of him is going to make life difficult there for Brad to get a move done. Brad Marys running it a little bit wide on the tight right-hander. That's a downhill corner. Tough to get the braking right for that. We saw Matt Taylor lock up there earlier. We see Brad Marys lock it up and take it a little wide. He's going to lose his ground to Matt Taylor in P2. Mark DeGraw is going to close up on Brad Marys. Let's see if Mark can get a run through the S's here. As I mentioned before, just a tricky section with the rhythm and the timing coming through these S's. There's a moment you really just probably have to breathe the throttle or lift. Other than that, it's almost flat out. Matt Taylor, oh, we got a car on the inside. Didn't see who that was. Might have been a back marker. Might have been Omar Gomez. He's disconnected from the server. So we've lost Omar, down to 22 cars now. Battle through fourth, separated by just 2 seconds. It's right up front with your leader, John Houston, who has kept his nose clean and picked up 6 or 7 spots to get the lead. Houston doing a good job of just keeping the car online and being consistent. So far, everybody's but Houston has seemed to fall victim to a mistake or 2 already. Houston gets a little bit of curb there, but nice clean exit. Tough to pass here in this last, this back S's section here. Not really a lot you can do through these corners too wide, but you've got a back marker spinning in front of the leaders. They're able to clear that. I believe that was David Rowley. Houston takes it nice and tight through turn 11. And they'll begin lap 9. Houston still out front. Mark DeGraw has closed in on Brad Marys. These two drivers battling for the third spot. Mark carrying 20 kilograms of ballast. Brad carrying 10. So a little bit of weight on these cars. Only 10 kilogram difference between the two. It's a pretty level fight. Mentioned earlier, all these top cars on the alternate tires right now, they'll be looking to build as much gap as they can to those who started on the primary tires. I believe Chris Moses in 9th is our first driver on primaries. What will be interesting to see is what set of tires these guys take next. We've seen the alternate strategy play out well for a lot of these drivers in the last few weeks. Really, it's almost a judgment call. It's hard to predict the strategy before the race, just due to the track. Oh, and we've got a car off track. I believe that was Lou Mascarelli in 21st. Mark and the leaders able to get by him. I don't think that caused any shake-up here, but Matt Taylor is getting ever so closer to the back of John Houston. Let's hop on board with Taylor here. See if he can't maybe find an area to use that. Whoa, but Taylor takes it wide coming out of the carousel. Houston also carrying 10 kilograms of ballast this week, so Matt has a little bit of weight advantage here. So Matt gets it a little bit wrong through that left-hander. Just about a car length off the apex, or car width off the apex, and you see John just immediately pull about half a second gap on Matt Taylor. So Matt Taylor gonna have to put his head down and grind out some more fast laps, see if he can't tuck up closer to John Houston. Right now, working lap 11 of 49 here. Let's talk about the tire strategy a few minutes ago. 11 laps in, we'll see how far these guys can take the alternate tires. We would expect to see these tires really start to fall off. Pit stops probably for these guys around lap 15. 2 15-lap stints on the alternate tires would leave you 19 to do on the primaries. Most of these guys trying to limit the time they spend on the primary tire. Seems some of them, whoa, we see Matt Taylor get a little inside wheel lock up there. He runs it wide. He's going to lose some ground here to John Houston again. We saw John enter one of the corners there a little bit wide. Joel Ekman just put in his best time on 118. Ekman all the way up to position 15. We'll see if we can pick up the rest of the field. Right now, the battle is on for P1, and just as I say that, Matt Taylor is bringing it in at lap 11. And I'm not sure if this is scheduled or not. Matt Taylor coming in for, seems to be a little bit of a premature pit stop. We'll see how this plays out. Let's get back on track here. The battle with Brad Marys and Mark DeGraw seemed to spread out a little bit. These guys separated by 2.5 seconds now, so let's check Mark's times. A 116. I don't see any anomalies there, any strange laps from Mark, but either that or Brad just been able to put the hammer down. Let's check Brad's times. Yeah, Brad just really starting to put in the good laps here. Low 115s. Brad finds himself in P2, just 1.2 seconds back of John Houston. This is a good opportunity for Brad to really make up some ground to Matt Taylor, who decided to pit early. He came out in the 9th position. And just to say that, John Houston comes in the next lap, so these drivers only able to get 11, 12 laps out of the alternate tires. We may see a 3-stopper tonight. It might, you know, the sunny California weather here may be taking its toll on the tires. Brad Marys now inherits the lead. Looks like we've got Mark DeGraw now about 3 seconds behind him. Kevin McManski still hasn't pitted. Jake Feemster still out there working his alternate tires. David Zahn in 5th. John Houston has come out of the pits in 6th, just ahead of Chris Moses, who is your first driver on the primary tires. Keep that in mind. Chris decided to do the primaries on the first stint, and he'll probably go alternates the rest of the way. Expect to see Chris Moses gain some ground through strategy here. I'm back on board with the a battle for 9th here with Greg Myers on the alternate tires. Greg's done a good job of making up spots. He's up to P9. Alan Jacobs in P10 and Josh Slade in P11. All racing within about a second to a second and a half of each other. Hop on board with Alan Jacobs here. Gets a lot of curb. They're able to keep it on track, and Greg has a little, I guess, just missed the timing a little bit on that corner, and had to back out of it. Alan did a good job of not getting in the back of Greg and giving him plenty of room to race. Alan with a little bit of oversteer there, trying to put the power down. Josh Slade's lost a little bit of ground to these guys. So the battle right now on for P9. Alan Jacobs and Greg Myers. Give the guys a couple seconds of audio there. Listen to these 2018 North American GP Indycars. Good sounding bunch of cars. Looks like Brad Marys has relinquished the lead and came in to make his pit stop, lap 15. Still got Mark DeGraw out there working his tires. I don't think Mark has stopped. Let's check his lap times. Yeah, Mark doing 116 or the 117 last lap. He may be just rolling the dice and stretching his tires for all that he can. We saw him lose some ground to Brad Marys before, but that may have been a conscious decision just to take it easy on those alternate set of tires and run his car a little bit further. We'll see how this plays out for him. Expect to see Mark bring that car in the next lap or two. And just as we jump on board Mark, he brings it into the pits. Let's hop on board with Kevin Lekmansky now. Whoops, apologize for that. We lost Kevin there. Check Kevin's lap times. Kevin, I don't think, has pitted yet. He has not. So Kevin really taking... Oh, and just as they say that, Kevin has a big slide. Somehow kept the car pointed in somewhat the right direction. And that's going to cost him, but it could have been far worse. That's the gamble you take sometimes, trying to stretch these alternate tires beyond their serviceable lifespan. And that decision to do the extra lap might just blow up in Kevin's face. We'll see how it works out, but expect to see Kevin come into the pits this lap. John Houston's just 10 seconds behind Kevin. So Kevin, who was the race leader for the first couple laps before having an off there in the carousel, now finds himself in the lead, but only by virtue of not pitting. It's going to allow John Houston to re-inherit the lead. Checking back on board here with this race for P9. Josh Slade is not letting Alan Jacobs go. And these guys have caught David Zahn. We've got a three-way battle, and just to say that, David Zahn and Greg Myers come into the pits. Alan Jacobs and his teammate, I believe that's Josh Slade. Both these guys running the primary tires and have not pitted yet. And speaking of not pitted yet, Chris Moses is out there. Remember, Chris started in the 10th position. Chris has not pitted. He is your first driver right now, your highest ranking driver on the primary tires. So, well, as described, the primary tires not as fast ultimately, but a much longer service or lifespan that you can use tires for before they drop off. Now again, most guys will want to minimize the amount of time spent on these tires as they ultimately are slower. But ultimate pace doesn't always win the race. We've seen this before. Strategy can trump fast lap. And right now it's a little bit too early to see if that's going to play out. We're 18 laps into this 49 lap race. We've seen your drivers on the alternate tires make their first stop, but Chris Moses, looks like Alan Jacobs and Josh Slade have not pitted yet. John Houston still your leader, just about a second and a half now lead. Apologies if we're picking up any audio glitches there. Still riding on board with John Houston now. Yeah, just about hovering around 1.6 to 1.8 second lead. These guys are stretching their gap on Matt Taylor. Now, Matt has taken the primary tires. We've seen the alternate strategy work out before. What's going to be key for John Houston and Brad Marys is not to race each other. Rather, they need to build a gap to Matt Taylor. Because at some point, Matt's going to be on the alternate tires, the faster tires, when these guys take their primary tires. Matt Taylor also with the fast lap of the race with a 1:14.9. Let's see when Matt did that lap. He did that back on lap 8 when he was on the alternate tires. So Matt currently putting in low 116s, 116.1 his last lap. Houston and Brad are doing better than that. Brad's doing a 15.2 and Houston's doing a 15.5. So again, Matt's going to try to keep these guys within his sights as best as he can, while these guys are going to try to put Matt in his mirrors. No particularly close battles on track right now. Jonathan Cuppett is closing the gap to Josh Slade. Wonder if Cuppett's made a pit stop yet or not. Looks like Cuppett came in around lap 12. So Jonathan Cuppett riding around in P9. He has made his pit stop from the alternate tires. He sits behind teammates of Josh Slade and Alan Jacobs, who have not made a pit stop yet. Looks like battle's heating up here for P4, and just as I say that, the battle is over. Mark DeGraw capitalizes there on I don't know if Chris made a mistake there, or maybe his primary tires are starting to fall off. Either way, Mark DeGraw gets by Chris Moses here for P4. And Chris Moses will be coming under fire here from Matt Taylor not too long. Taylor and Jacobs here. Actually, it looks like Taylor may have had an incident. Taylor was... So Matt Taylor, not sure what happened. Let's check the lap times. Maybe it happened this lap. Looks like Matt Taylor has lost several positions on track. And Matt Taylor coming in the pits. Not sure what's going on with your points leader, Matt Taylor, but he is in for his second stop. I don't know if this is timed or maybe he's doing the 3-stopper. Either way, he's dropping like a stone in the pond. Matt Taylor now to P10. John Houston still out front. Brad Marys has closed that gap up a little bit. Both these guys carrying 10 kilograms of ballast, so a level fight as far as any weight advantage or disadvantage goes. Brad brings it in real hot, dives it in. Turn 11 there. See if he gets a clean exit. He's now just under a second back. We'll keep an eye on these two. Looks like Chris Moses has finally made his way into the pits after 21 laps on his primary tires. Alan Jacobs also in the pits. Josh Slade also coming in the pits. So your primary tire drivers, or drivers who started on the primary tires, making it to 22 laps. We'll wait for these guys to cycle out and we'll take an opportunity to run them down. Brad Mary's still trying to hunt down John Houston. Looks like there's a battle right now for P10 between Greg Myers and Matt Taylor. Greg Myers on the primary tires. Matt Taylor also grabbing another set of the primary tires. Well, this definitely is unexpected. I wonder if Matt took damage on an incident there and had to pit for repairs. We talked earlier about this being a great opportunity for Matt to cash in on his pole position. And maybe we jinxed him, but like I said earlier, anything can happen. Matt, definitely your early on favorite. Your pole sitter by over 2/10. And no ballast this week. Now finds himself sitting in P11 battling with Greg Myers for the P10 spot. Whoa, Matt gets it all wrong. He slides into the pit lane. That definitely wasn't expected. Matt Taylor going for a wild ride down the outside of turn 11. I think Matt just got lucky. If you're going to have an off and hit the wall, might as well do it on the way into pit road. It looks like his wheel is slightly off, so if he's pitting, he'll have to pit for repairs. Your points leader in your pole sitter for tonight, Matt Taylor, just having a rough night here. John Houston, who is currently third in points, and his team in first in points, finds himself in P1. He is being dogged by Brad Marizo, who is lap after lap shrinking the gap between these two. I'm taking a look there on Brad's steering wheel, and I see that he has 10 foot. Oh, Brad with a little bit of oversteer coming out of the hairpin before they start the S's. It's going to let John slip away just a little bit. So saying I see 10 push to pass there on the dashboard for Brad. So Brad has been in cruise control, and as they say that, John Houston's coming in for tires. Brad Marys is going to inherit the lead of this race. Let's hop on board with Greg Myers again, who finds himself once again under pressure, this time from Aaron Parsons, who is second in points. Last week's winner at Road Atlanta, right behind Matt Taylor. Aaron carrying all that weight, and let's check on Aaron's times. We haven't even talked much about Aaron tonight, which is odd because he's usually right in the thick of things. Looks like Aaron made a pit stop on lap 17, 18, but I see an early, what looks to be a pit stop around lap 4 or 5. I wonder if Aaron may have took some damage there. He does get the pass done on Greg Myers. I wonder if Aaron took any damage there. Watching Brad Marys here put a lap on Greg Myers. So Greg Myers in P11 now, your first car a lap down. Aaron Parsons in 10th position now, your last car on the lead lap and under threat from Brad Marys to go a lap down. We haven't talked about it at all this season, but I'll mention there is a competition index race starting to unfold, and Lou Mascarelli retires his car from the race, so it's going to leave us with just 19 running. As I was saying, the competition index championship is for the driver who does the furthest distance throughout the season. Not sure who that leader is, but we'll try to get you a points update maybe from for the next week or so. Not sure the last time these guys updated that, but be curious to see who's been able to drive this car the furthest this season. You need to be able to stay on the lead lap and not have any no qualifying penalties for qualifying, and only 1 lap credit for qualifying per race, but you need to be able to put that lap in and finish each race on the lead lap, which is easier said than done in these challenging 2018 Indy cars. A great package to watch, though. We've seen great racing this season. Tonight's race is a little bit more spread out than what we're used to seeing. Switching over here to Chris Moses, who looks to be in a fight with Jake Beamster. But Feimster right now on the primary tire is not sure if he's going to be able to do anything with Chris Moses. Actually, as I say that, Feimster now under pressure from Alan Jacobs. Feimster putting together a great run here this evening. Finds himself in P7. For those of you who were wanted an update on Matt Taylor, he is now in the 17th position, 1.5 laps down. I expect him to make up spots. 16 points paying position here at NAGP, so he'll be out there fighting for every point he can find. It's a good chance he'll lose the points lead tonight, but anything can happen. We still have half a race to go here tonight at Sonoma and a whole race to go at Riverside, which I'll need somebody to chime in and let me know, but I believe that Riverside race may also be a double points event. Not entirely sure on that one. We'll wait for confirmation, but if that is the case, we'll definitely see some fireworks in that last race. Hop back up here to Jake Feimster. Alan Jacobs getting real close, tucking right up under the back of Jake Feimster's rear wing there, coming out of that hairpin. Jake gets a good exit and puts some distance between them through the S's. Riding on board with Alan Jacobs, you can really see some of the undulation and bumps in the road there coming into that final hairpin. Makes the brake application really tricky. This uphill turn 2 there, is the right hander that falls away from you, is really challenging. Likewise with this other one coming over the hill, kind of off camber. Got to be patient when you pick up the gas. Jake Feimster keeping a few tenths now between him and Alan Jacobs. So Jake keeping his head down, putting the laps in. These guys both on the primary tire, so no tire advantage in this battle here for 7th. Brad Marys has brought his car into the pits, and he is going onto the primary tire. Let's see where John Houston comes out. It looks like Brad Marys has cleared John Houston by a substantial amount, almost 2 seconds. When John came into the pits, he was about a second ahead of Brad, so Brad, with some clever strategy here, is able to pass John Houston through the pits with the overcut, if you would. Running his alternate tire stints a little bit longer on the first 2 sets of tires. Now finds himself in 3rd position. That's going to give Mark DeGraw the lead. Let's check Mark's lap times. Mark took his primary tires 15 laps the first time. Let's see if he takes them 15 laps the second time. Mark's only got about 18 seconds back to Brad Marys, so he's going to need some help if he's going to cover that. And as I say that, the gap between Brad Marys and John Houston has vaporized in a couple corners. John Houston all over the back of Brad Marys now. Brad must have had a mistake, or, you know, sometimes they have to get these tires up to temperature. The outlap can be very tricky. Any mistakes from Brad brought John Houston right to the back of him, and the battle is on for P3. This is also potentially your lead battle. DeGraw and Legmansky neither have made a second pit stop yet, and we expect to see them in any time in the next lap or two. As I say that, DeGraw brings it in. He'll relinquish the lead. Kevin Legmansky now inherits the lead. He's going to stay out for another lap. Let's hop back on board with Houston, who is just 4/10 here off the back of Brad. Brad Marys just pulls over and lets John go. I don't know what that was about. That was very uncharacteristic, yet entirely unselfish of Brad Marys. I'm not sure what that was about. Does he have damage? Let's take a look at Brad's car. Right now, looks clean. Hop back on board with Brad and see if maybe he can't just tuck in behind John Houston here and ride this out. Now let's see if these drivers are how long they're going to take. These primary tires. I mentioned before, we may see a 3-stopper, but I'm starting to doubt that strategy. It's a long pit lane here. You have to enter before turn 11, and you lose a lot of time in the pits. I mean, not just by making the pit stop, just by having to go the pit speed limit, which is being enforced this season with NAGP. So as you can see, it's a long pit lane, so it's just so much time lost by being on pit road. You'd think these guys would take as least amount of pit stops as they can manage. Brad losing a little bit of time here, falling about a second back to John Houston. Now, maybe Brad's thinking, I've got to make these tires go the distance. There's no point in beating them up now. Thinking maybe John will come back towards him at the end of the race. Maybe he'll have some better tires to take the fight back to John Houston. Kevin Lukmansky out front now. He's working on Josh Slade, who is in P11. Josh's last car on the lead lap, so this battle's not for position. And Kevin's probably going to do the right thing here. He needed to come in anyway, so Kevin does another 16 laps on his alternates, and so there's only 17 laps to go. Looks to be in good shape for his last stint on the primary tires. John Houston should be rounding start-finish line now. They passed Kevin Lukmansky while he's in the pit, so as predicted, Houston and Brad Marys now back to the lead positions. Mark DeGraw looks like he's going to pass his teammate. Yeah, he's out well ahead of Kevin Lukmansky, who just now gets his car rolling. Kevin's going to come back out on track in the 4th position, just ahead of that backmarker Dale Baldwin. Dale does a good job of just give Kevin the corner there. They're not racing for position, so let Kevin on and see if he can't go catch his teammate, Mark DeGraw. Kevin, who was your early leader, finds himself in 4th position now, but for the team, a great showing here for Captain Clutch Motorsports, P3 and P4 respectively, working 33 laps of tonight's 49 lapper. It's been an exciting one. Chris Moses out there on his alternate tires now. We said to keep an eye on Chris. He was on the primary tires early, and he's going to be on the alternate tires later, and he is now just a second behind Kevin Lukmansky. Also, a battle going on for P6 between Alan Jacobs and Jake Feemster, who are both on the primary tire. Let's hop back on board with Chris Moses here. We believe Moses has only made one stop. Let's check his lap times. Yeah, Moses pitted at lap 22. He has not stopped. He has not changed the set alternates. And as I say that, you see him get a little bit of oversteer getting into that second corner. expect to see Brad stop, or not Brad, sorry, Chris stop here. If he went 22 laps, he's going to have to get 27 out of them. So probably going to do another lap or two on these alternates and come in and grab another set. Ultimately, he's not going to be battling Kevin Lemansky for P4. He'll fall a little bit further back once he makes a stop. Kevin should be done with pit stops for the rest of the race. So even though these guys battling on track right now. Oh no, we've lost Iggy Jordia from the 16th position. And update on Matt Taylor, he has caught up to the 14th position. And he's working Chuck Carter here for position 13. Expect Matt to get Chuck here in this next lap or two. Matt locks him up, working real close to Chuck Carter there. Good on Matt not to just take both those drivers out. Your lead getting a little tight right now. Just a second between John Houston and Brad Marys. We'll hop back up on the leader's car here. Brad's probably closing up on these on John here and some of the hairpins. David Zahn in the pits, probably making his last stop for the race. Joel Ekman going another lap down. Good job on Joel there. Staying to the inside, giving these leaders plenty of room. David Zahn coming out of the pits and losing a lap there to John Houston. Just 10 cars on the lead lap. Up back here to Jake Feemster, who finds himself in a race with Alan Jacobs. Looks like Chris Moses has made his second pit stop. He works his way down 7th. That's going to bring Jake up to P5. Jake and Alan both right now on the primary tires. Let's check. Alan's pit stop was lap 21, and I don't think he's made a pit stop yet for the primary. So it looks like Alan Jacobs has gone 2 long stints here, and we'll probably just grab a set of alternates for a fast blast here in the last few laps. Let's see what Feemster's strategy has been. Looks like Feemster pitted on lap 14. So he's working about 23 laps on his tires. I think both of these drivers still have a pit stop to make. So this is the battle on track right now. Feemster comes in to make his last stop. Jacobs inherits 5th position. Back on board here with Brad Marys. Brad's fallen about a second further behind John Houston. Checking Brad's lap there of a 1:17.5. These guys were doing mid 116s on the primary tire, so Brad must have had a mistake or maybe caught up on a back marker, not sure, but he's lost a second now to John Houston. Oh, we've lost John Houston from the lead. Houston is in the pits. Not sure what happened to Houston, if this is a planned stop or not, but Brad Marys inherits the lead. Quick stop from Houston. Comes out on the alternate tires. And that's going to bring him out 4th right behind Kevin Lemansky. Kevin's still on those primary tires that he grabbed not too long ago, around lap 32. So Houston's going to be all over the back of Kevin, and it will probably only be a matter of a couple corners here before Houston's alternate tires come up to temperature and he's able to get them moved on Kevin. Assuming both these guys have similar fuel loads, probably just enough fuel to get to the end here. Now you see John's able to take a much tighter line there through that hairpin. Kevin gets the power down though. Does a good job. Houston grabbed maybe a little too much curb there. Loses some time there to Kevin Lekmansky. We'll expect to see John get a little bit closer here as they take it into the tight hairpin. Power down, so key coming out of that corner to get the run back all the way up through. But it's not really a front straightaway, just a series of flat corners here until you reach this difficult right-hander, one of the trickier corners on the track. John really working the back of Kevin now. Let's take a rear wing shot here, see if we can't find where Houston's going to make his move. Maybe around the outside? Don't know if John's going to be able to make this work. Houston had to back out of it. Kevin hangs on to that third position. Boy, Houston's just got to be aggravated. Thought he had the move done on Kevin and thought wiser of it. With points championship now on the line, your points leader Matt Taylor has made some ground up but finds himself in 14th position. Houston's teammate Aaron Parsons in 9th. So a top 4, top 3, you know, the closer John can get to the lead, the better shot he's got at grabbing the points lead. He was only 7 points back of Matt Taylor. Right now, that would give him the points lead going into this the final race. These guys are coming up on the lap car of Greg Myers in the 11th position. Whoa, John with a big, whew, man. Houston got a great exit. Not sure if Kevin will mix, and he's gonna. Whoa, hang on, Houston. Wow, that was hairy. John got a little out of rhythm and off track and nearly put it in the wall. John's gonna have to gather himself up and take another run here at Kevin Lekmansky. Lekmansky, doing a wonderful job of just driving his line, not giving Houston any real opportunity to get by him, despite Houston being on the better tire. This is your closest race on track now for highest position. I'll remind you, Brad Mary's still out front now to a 15-second lead over second place Mark DeGraw. You're watching the battle for P3 between Mark's teammate Kevin Lekmansky and John Houston. Kevin puts in a really solid lap there, 1:16.0. That's a great time for the primary tires. Kevin really making life difficult for John Houston to get this P3 spot away from him. Josh Slade sets his best lap of the race with a 1:16.2. Finds himself in the 12th position, about a lap and a half off the pace. Keeping an eye on this battle here, folks. But just to run them down, Brad Mary's right now 15 seconds to the good out front. Mark DeGraw in second. Battle right now is for P3 between John Houston and Kevin McManski. Jonathan Cuppett, haven't picked up much of Jonathan tonight, quietly sitting in the 5th position with a solid run. Chris Moses started 10th, now finds himself in 6th. Jake Feemster, solid run tonight in P7. Alan Jacobs in P8. Those are your top 8 cars and your only cars on the lead lap. And Jacobs only about 10 seconds, well, maybe about 13 seconds clear of the leaders. We're working lap 43 of 49 here at Sonoma. If you're just tuning in, points leader Matt Taylor, who is also tonight's pole sitter, definitely the heavy favorite for this week's race coming in. Lost the lead on the start to Kevin McManski. We're watching defend P3 right now. John Houston right up to the gearbox of Kevin McManski, but has to tiptoe it through the aero wash. And John runs it wide again. Just can't seem to make that last corner working for him. I wonder if John's tires are starting to go off. As I mentioned, Matt Taylor will look to be, we didn't quite see everything, but looked to be some unfortunate events for Matt Taylor. Has had to make a couple unplanned pit stops, now finds himself a lap and a half down in the 12th position. Aaron Parsons, second in points, has not fared much better tonight, carrying the success ballast in P10. Whoa! Houston gets it all wrong going into the carousel. He launches off the inner part of the jump. Oh, Hank, keep it together, John. Well, that's probably going to seal John's fate here with 5 laps remaining. John really lucky to just have so much room back to Cuppett. He's not going to lose any positions for that big mistake, but you know, nothing Kevin did wrong there. Just John made a mistake and launched the car right through the carousel. Check back on board with Brad Mary's, who we haven't shown much love to since the strategies all worked out. We saw a couple on-track battles. Brad Mary's 16 seconds now over Mark DeGraw in P2. Mark with a good run. Kevin McManski defends P3. Is going to look to hang on to that spot. Their team, Captain Clutch Racing, putting together a great run here at Sonoma. John Houston now in 4th. Jonathan Cuppett in 5th. Great run from Jonathan Cuppett tonight. Chris Moses, who now only has 2 seconds between him and Jonathan Cuppett. And Chris taking the primary tires earlier. Now he's on the alternate tires and looking to take the race to some of these guys here late. Let's see if he can catch Jonathan Cuppett. Cuppett's last lap of 1:17 flat and Chris's last lap of 1:17.1. So Jonathan actually faster last lap on the primary tires, but we are working some back markers here. As I say that, Cuppett's putting a lap on Chuck Carter. who just gets out of the way of Chris Moses there. Nice job by Chuck. Just to recognize these guys are going to be racing here in a few moments and not get in the way of this top 5 racing here at Sonoma. Just a handful of laps left. Chris brings it down to about half a second now between him. A 1:14.9 from Chris Moses last lap. He's flying. Cuppet runs it a little wide. That's going to let Chris get real close. Chris looking to set up a move maybe here. Thinks better of it. A little bit of lock up there from Chris, but he's still right on the back of Jonathan. This is where we saw Houston send it wide. Not the case with Chris Moses here. He's going to get a late exit, and Jonathan Cuppet, big time oversteer. Jonathan catches the slide, but he backs out of it. Looks like we got a battle there for 13th right in front of Jonathan Cuppet between Josh Slade and Kevin Miller. Jake Beamster under fire from Alan Jacobs. Battle for P7 is on, leading the race. Both these drivers having an impressive run here tonight. Your last 2 drivers on the lead lap. We've lost Brian Story. So just 16 cars now on the track. 16 points paying position. So those that are able to finish this race from here on out will be receiving points. Battle here for P7. Also got ourselves a battle for P9. Aaron Parsons and David Zahn. Aaron Parsons now just 2 positions ahead of Matt Taylor. I'm not sure if he realizes that, but if he can get another spot here from David Zahn, that would put Aaron ahead of Matt Taylor in points, and I'm not sure what that would do with his teammate John Houston. Aaron trying to pick up the throttle early, doesn't work out for him, ends up losing a little bit of ground as he's got to backpedal that exit there, and he's going to try to get a better run through the S's here. We missed it, but Chris Moses has gotten around Jonathan Cuppet for P5. And John Houston has caught the back of Kevin Lekmansky. So too many battles to stay on board with. We'll ride with this one for the moment between John Houston and Kevin Lekmansky. Not sure if Kevin had a situation or if John was just able to close all that gap. Houston right up on the gearbox of Lekmansky now. He's got to pedal it a little bit. That aero wash tough to keep the car. And as I say that, Kevin gets the advantage. Jonathan just not able to hang with Kevin in those S's. Battle back here for P7 still going strong. Parsons has gotten around David Zahn, but at the same time, Matt Taylor has gotten around Greg Myers. And I say that, and Houston is off course. Houston has put it off course, trying to work Kevin Lekmansky again. Keep an eye on Chris Moses. He's going to be flying, catching up to John Houston, who's put it off. Let's hope John didn't get any damage. John really giving it his all tonight to get around Kevin Lekmansky for that 3rd spot, but Kevin proving a tough car to get around. It's one thing to catch a guy, it's another thing to pass him. Brad Marys has crossed the finish line. Your winner, Mark DeGraw, now coming across the finish line for P2. Kevin McMancy's going to bring home P3. The battle right now with John Houston and Chris Moses. Last couple corners here. Can Chris make an effort here on John? John goes super defensive on the inside. That's going to give Chris the opportunity to put the power down. Oh, Chris can't get the power down. He's not going to be able to get the move done right at the back of John Houston, but exciting finish here for position 4. Jonathan Cuppett just behind these guys, going to bring it home in 6th. Alan Jacobs in 7th. Jake Feemster is your last car on the lead lap. He's going to bring it home in P8. And that's it for your cars on the lead lap, folks. Congratulations to Brad Marys. Let's see if we can't go find him. Hey, Brad, you're in the broadcast booth. Jesse Olson, congratulations. Great drive tonight.
Woo! Yeah, I'm just taking a slow warm down lap here, waving at all my fans there, Jesse. So,
yeah. Are you going to do
on them tonight?
Yeah, you going to do a Polish victory lap? Maybe spin it around, go the other way?
Who knows what that's going to do to the results. Hey, by the way, has anyone told you in quite a while how awesome it is that you're doing these broadcasts, by the way? If no one's mentioned it recently, let me be the next, anyway, to do it. So we really all appreciate it.
Well, I'm flattered, but the kudos go to you tonight. What a great drive. This track turned out to be a really tricky combination, I guess, with the weather and the track surface. Saw lots of guys struggling. Tell us how difficult it was out there and how you were able to make your strategy work.
In the end, it was pretty easy for me, Jesse, because I just planned on driving like a little old lady. If I'd gotten passed by half the field, that honestly would have been fine with me. Looking at the leaderboards, right, on the times, there's no way I was going to be competitive. So I just figured, well, we'll just try to make it 2 stops and see what happens. And it turns out it worked out pretty well. Had a little scare with Houston. I wasn't sure what kind of strategy he was on because he took it. It's kind of a strange strategy. You take it all the way to lap 13. And so I don't know if he had figured out something magical with the fuel tank or added, strapped on a 5-gallon can to the exterior or something. But yeah, he had to pit. And then I'm like, okay, phew, we're all good. And as honestly, Jesse, is a lucky night. We'll take it.
Yeah, that was unexpected. Did not plan to see Houston come in. I thought you guys were going to have a battle all the way through to the end there. But once he made that move, it gave you some room, and through the misfortune of others, you had a nice gap there, about 15 seconds for the last handful of laps there to Mark DeGraw, and then Houston ended up battling for P4. But congratulations again, great drive, way to handle it. Just goes to show that ultimate pace doesn't always win the race.
Yeah, the turtle won over the hare, I think, this time. Turns out our pace wasn't actually all that bad, but I was definitely driving to a fuel number and especially a tire number because this track is just stupidly difficult with the grip, and when the tires go, it's just a nightmare out there. So anyway, yeah, we're definitely going to take this one. It was an important one because the weight's going to get canceled for a double points race for the last race next week. I hope everybody tunes in for that. And woohoo! Thanks, guys.
Yeah, congratulations. Get right. Go celebrate with your teammates. Have fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. All right, folks, that's going to wrap it up. I'm Jesse Olson bringing it to you here on Monday night. Round 11 in the books. Brad Marys, your winner. Mark DeGraw, second. Kevin McMancy in third. Stay tuned to the website for the updates on points and the official results from this race. And as Brad mentioned, next week, big double points race there at Riverside. So catch us next week. Same bat time, same bat channel here on Monday nights. And we will bring you the exciting finale to the Season 35 of Indycars here at NAGP. I'm Jesse Olson signing off. Have a great night.